Hello, my name is Avert, and this is episode 13 of my series on building a time tracking application. And yeah, welcome back. Today, my intention is to basically continue work on the front end and get to a point where users can edit and add time entries. The API space already exists, so this should be pretty easy to do. Gonna try to keep my stream under an hour again, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. So if you, as usual, if you watching this from YouTube later, then in the description of the video you can find links to pull requests. So letting you it might make it a little easier for you to read along with what I'm doing today. But yeah, let's get started. First, let's start the API. And the front end, we can do this same screen. Okay, so that's that. So we should have a working front end now. Yep. So this is the interface that I've been working on. And yesterday, last episode, depending on your context, I kind of got to this point where you can look at every day in a week and fold these out, and then you see a list of entries for a day. So right now, those entries are just identical for every day. I'm going to do some filtering in a bit. But I think next good step is to allow people to basically edit these three fields. So this is the component entry day, and this component is basically everything that's in this file manages this single day box. So from here you see the project name, the number of hours, and the description. So yeah, this seems like a logical place to start working on my form. It's kind of interesting because like it kind of, if this were pure HTML, would have made sense to me for a form to basically create one form per row, because also all of these are going to be submitted together. But I guess that's not really possible in this case, because I'm not sure if you're allowed to put a form around a TR, because I'm pretty sure that the TR can only exist immediately under T head, T body, and table. So I guess I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, first things first, let's do the description. That seems like a relatively easy one. So what I want to do for that is actually, we can just start with a simple form field. Text value. Okay, it works. Awesome. Let's see if Bootstrap has some form styles. So what I kind of want is a very kind of subtle form field. So maybe they have something nice for that. Inline forms, disabled forms, custom styles. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll just do a standard form, see how that looks. So I'm assuming it's the class form control. Okay, well actually that doesn't look half bad, so maybe I'll just keep it this way. Okay, great. So next the hours. So it should also be a pretty simple one. Input type. Is it text or is it number? Let's see if I can do number. Okay, it's interesting. I can't change it. Oh yeah, I guess I can't change any of these, but can work on that. Cool. That's kind of interesting. I got this up down button. So actually, it's kind of nice in this case because I think we have a pretty good. Normally, I kind of hate these, but in this case, we have a pretty obvious incremental because I want to basically, if I press up or down, I just want to add or reduce 15 minutes. So that's 0.25. So let's see how the form HTML5 input number, because I'm pretty sure I can select stuff like the step. Yeah, I got a min and a max. Cool. You know what? I think this can use some more space. So the min is, I guess, what are we going to do for min? 0.1? That sounds okay. That's a tenth of an hour. It's a bit weird to think of hours in direct fractions because I think of them as minutes. Let's do 25. Max. How many hours max in a day? Well, people really shouldn't be working 24 hours, but they might. So it seems like a logical maximum. Step is okay. Yeah, I think this should work, right? Let's see, let's say unless the stepping base is not an integer, so I don't know what stepping base is. Okay, yeah, allowing decimal values. Okay, that's great. And placeholder 0, 1 seems like a good number. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I can't change it, right? I still have that problem. That's fine. It's totally fine, because in the meantime, let's move on to the project. And once these 3 fields are done, that seems like a better time to allow these changes to be made. Cool, so we have a client select, which is basically a select field for clients. So I'm going to make a new one that's basically a copy of this specifically for projects. These are just useful general components because for sure I'll want to use a dropdown for projects more than once. Just looking for all the instances of the word client and replacing it with project. Might be nice to have groups in the options field, but I'm not going to immediately. Also, one thing I don't know is like this feels like not a ton of space, and maybe people will actually want to leave a lot more notes. So yeah, it's something to think about in the future too. Okay. So project select, what kind of things does it have? It has default value, on change, class name, and ID. Okay, so for sure we want to do something with default value here. And I guess that's also, I never know what React has something called manage and unmanaged forms. I never know what the right one is. So default value, so before I extracted a link title, and I don't need to do that anymore with this project selector. Instead I can use the full URL. So it's resource link dot, no wait, resource state dot links dot get project. So what this refers to is not this. So we have a, oops, need to find an entry first. So that's person, aword, entries. There's a list of entries. We're editing one of these, and there's a project link. So this links.get project refers to this. And then I want to get the href. Okay, let's just quickly see how this looks. Okay, that works very well. And it happened all very fast. Okay, it's not beautiful on these small screens. I'm kind of thinking that doing a table that has just less space might work better for something like this. So both the form fields and this table itself have a lot of space, and I think I just rather, you know, make this look like something that's similar to, I don't know, Excel or something. Or Google Sheets, just like a pretty tight grid, I think would be good. Let's just quickly see if there's some default styles for this. Tables. Bordered, hoverable, small table. I think we want table small. Yep. At the very least. Okay, yeah, it already looks a bit better. Cool, I'm fine with this for now. I don't like this. This is my least favorite part. It's weird that there's no kind of indicator of a drop down. Maybe I'm actually using maybe I'm using the wrong control name for this. Form control, yeah, it's just form control. Could just be the theme then. Like normally, oh yeah, so yeah, I would expect this kind of, this little chevron on the end to be there. It's not here today. But yeah. That's fine. Let's not get too stuck here. Cool. So, yeah, so we have, these are turned into forms now, so I think it's time to let users change this. So let's find my form again. Cool, it's right here. So the first one is the project selector. Oops. Let's do the easy ones first. So the text field. Just want to fix the alignment a little bit, so it's going to be a bit easier to read in the future. On change equals set name, constants. So I'm just going to create 3 separate functions for this. This one will do resource state data dot name. Wait, do we want name? There's no name here. It's called description. Equals description. Resource state dot. Oh yeah, and then after that we just need to store it. Set resource state. Cool. Should work now. Yep, and as you can see, those events are propagated to every instance. This is just a side effect of how getting works because these are all listening to the same resources. That if you call something like set resource state, then anything else listening to this will automatically get an update. Right now, of course, this is just for testing because we have these fields here and these fields here are sorry, these entries and these entries here are the same. So eventually we're going to filter, but this is just an easier way to just get started on editing. Cool, so that's the first one. What else do we need? We need set hours. Actually, so our field name is called minutes. Wow, doing this really clumsily. Okay, it doesn't like that. Why not? Oh, because it's a string, so okay. Let's change it to a number. And now we need to set it without change. Set minutes. Parse float, I think. We also need to cast to an integer. So we've got to do math.round parse float ev.target.value. You can also do values number. It's interesting. I didn't know that existed. Value as number. divided by, no wait, multiplied by 60. Because the field is expressing the hours in hours, time in hours, and our data model in minutes. Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, it works. Cool. Next one, set project. So the project select component expresses its value, not as the title, but as the basically like whatever's in here it doesn't use. It uses the href as the actual value. So we have project href here. So the resource state also needs to, basically we're updating this link now in our API. Set rel project href, and then set resource state. So actually what I want to do, I want to use value and not default value. Again, I never really fully understand which one seems correct, but at the very least I do think I should be consistent within a single form. Yeah, I really need to kind of dig into the pros and cons of each. Cool. So I have an error because the project select doesn't support value yet. Let's take a look. Yeah. Oh my god, it works so nicely. This is really fun. So I need to think about like when do I want to save. I think for now I'm just going to actually save as soon as a user makes a change. There could be a lot of requests though. I don't necessarily want to do it on every character. Okay. I think I might need to turn this into a custom component in the future, but I think for now I'm going to basically do a delayed save. Yeah. So to send data to the server, we use the submit function here. And I think I basically need to be able to, I need to keep track. So what I want to do is whenever you make a change, then maybe a second later or a couple seconds later, I actually submit a change to the server. But then if you make changes within that second, I want to delay this submission and do it just slightly later. So I think for something like that, I might need to use ref. Kind of going blind a little. So this function is going to be responsible for submitting the state to the server. So the first step is if delayed submit timeout, current. So if there is something here, then we are going to clear that timeout. Delayed submit timeout. Current. And then we are scheduling a new one, set timeout. Oh yeah, so delayed submit timeout dot current equals set timeout. Callback. So what do we want to do? We want to submit, and when do we want to do it? Let's say after 5 seconds. So this one wants a type, and the type will be null by default, and it can be either null or the result. Return type of the set timeout function. Cool. Okay, so I think I did this correctly. So let's see, delayed submit. All right, so 5 seconds seems like a good number. Okay, there's a bunch of errors here. I really need to. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff I should fix. I don't always look at these errors, but I do really care about having a clean situation. For now, let's see if I can do this. Okay, put requests. 500 error, not helpful. But it looks like a submission worked. Change the minutes to 120. Okay, this is I would say this is a pretty good progress. Let's see what the error is though. Person ID does not have a default, but okay. So what this tells me is that somehow something went wrong. Oh, it's also inserting. It's not supposed to insert. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the API. Okay, well, there's a problem. Let's use insert, should have used update. Please restart. And let's try this again. Okay, success. Let's put this on 150. And then I'm gonna refresh just to see if it's information stuck. Yeah, it did. Excellent. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to test if my delay system worked. So if I change this 5, let's just increase 0.75. So it's 5 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to do 2. And then before the 5 second hits, I'm going to change again. Okay, I think it worked. I think we're good. Yeah, cool. So we only got one request for that. Awesome. Cool. So editing entries works. And we're only 30 minutes in. That's nice. So I think actually I'm just going to keep this episode short because usually I kind of make these a little bit too long, and I imagine that it's actually probably a bit easier to digest 30 minutes at a time as opposed to 1.5 hours. So I think I'm going to make my goal to make these a little bit shorter. So thank you for watching. Probably next time we'll work on adding new entries to this. And I think it's also a good time to start looking at filtering because all of these are repeated now for every day. Cool. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you're curious what I've done today, take a look at GitHub after, because the pull requests should all be there by the time you're watching this on YouTube. Cool. Bye.